Hey, today we are going to be graphing inequalities. By the end of lesson, you'll be able to graph inequalities with either an open circle or a closed circle, and it'll be pointed in the right direction. So let's get started. We know how to graph x equals -3, right? All we have to do is put a little, look, there is -3. But we've been learning about inequalities, and we know that the solution to this could be a lot of things, right? What is greater than or equal to -2? Well, -2 is. But x could also be -1 because that's greater than -2. X could be 0. X could be 2. X could be 100. How do we graph these inequalities when there's like millions of possibilities, right? That's what we're going to learn today. But I'm going to let you figure it out. I'm going to let you look at these inequalities, and then I want you to figure out how to do it. I want you to see if you can notice the pattern. For example, I want you to see if you can figure out why the arrow is going to the left and when is it going to the right. Okay, I want you to figure out, you're going to notice that sometimes the circle is open. Sometimes you'll see a circle, but then you'll see it filled in. So your goal is to figure out the rule. Why am I making you do it? Because you remember things a lot better if you are the one that figured it out and not if the teacher just tells you how to do it. Okay, so I need you to think critically and think hard. I need you to problem solve. Okay, here's some the examples I'm going to give you. X is greater than or equal to -1. In this example, we have a closed circle and we have the arrow going in those numbers are greater than. Okay. If we have x is less than or equal to -3, we again have a closed circle, but this time the arrow is going in the less than direction. So both of these examples have closed circles. And this is what you're looking at. Why are they closed? Okay, let me give you two more examples. X is greater than 4. This time we have an open circle and the arrow going in all these numbers are greater than that. X is less than 5. We have a circle at 5 that's open and we're going in towards the left. Do you see any similarities there between the closed circle ones and the open circle ones? Why are these open, but yet these ones are closed? That was completely done on purpose. If you think you got it, let's look at another example. X is less than or equal to 4. We're going to do a circle and fill it in for 4, and the arrow to the left. X is greater than 2. This time we have an open circle, and the line is going to the right. Do you think you have it? Let me give you two more examples. Maybe you have the circle filled out or open figured out, but what about the arrows? Why do sometimes the arrows go left? Like with x is greater than or equal to 1. Why do sometimes the arrows go left? Like with x is less than 0. Okay, are you ready to tell me what the rule is? Let's see if you did it correctly. So, you keep the circle open if it is a greater than or a less than. Let me show you that. See, that was less than, it was open. This one was greater than, open, less than, greater than, and they are both open. So anytime you see just the less than or equal, the less than or greater than symbol, you're going to keep it open. If you see a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, that is when you are going to close it. Okay, so this was greater than or equal to, we closed it. This was also less than or equal to, we closed it, we filled it in. And then our first example, those were greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, we filled them in. Now why? Why do we close it in? Here is why. Is it true in this example right here that -1 is greater than or equal to -1? Yeah, that's true, right? So when we graph these, we are writing all of the solutions, and -1 is a solution. Is it true that 0 is greater than -1? Yeah, that's why 0 is filled in. Is it true that 1 is greater than or equal to -1? Yeah, that's why 1 is filled in. Is it true that 4 is greater than or equal to -1? Yeah, that's why it's filled in. So everything to the right is greater than or equal to -1. That's why -1 is filled in. Whereas with this example right here, is it true that 4 is greater, -4 is greater than -4? No, it's not. It is not greater than -4. That's why we just have it circled, but we don't fill it in because that shows, okay, that's where we start, but it's not a solution. That's just our starting point. Everything greater than that is like -3.9, which is like right there. That is greater than -4. That's why it gets to be green. Okay, 0 is greater than -4. That's why it's filled in right there. So that is why this rule works. Okay, if it includes the or equal to, then yeah, we're going to fill it in because it includes that as part of the solution. Okay, so that's the rule with the circles. Now, what's the rule with the arrows? The arrows tell you if it is greater or greater than or equal to, it'll go to the right. Why? Because anything greater is to the right. And if we are looking for something, let's do this example right here. If we are looking for x as being greater than or equal to 1, well, here's 1, and it is true 1 is greater than or equal to 1, right? But so is 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. All of those are greater. So we're going in the greater than direction. Okay, whereas if we have an arrow going to the left, we are looking for numbers that are less than or equal to. If x is less than 0, we're going to circle 0. We're not going to include it, but we want everything less than that. For example, -1/2 is a solution because it is less than 0. -2 is less than 0, so we're going to include that everything. Fraction, decimals, that's why we don't just include the integers or the whole numbers, we include everything in between because -2.5 is a solution. Okay, so you're going to include everything, and you're going to include the arrow because you're going to say everything even continuing on in that direction. All right, so on this example, why is 4 not shaded in? Well, because 4 is not a solution. 4 is not less than 4. Now, if it was 4 is less than or equal to 4, then we could shade it in. But it is not a solution. Okay, but 3.9 right there is less than 4. That's why it's shaded in, and 3.5 is shaded in, and 3 1/4 is shaded in, right? Everything less than 4 is shaded in because everything less than 4 is a solution. So, but not 4. That's why 4 is not shaded in. Okay, so here are the official steps. The first thing you're going to do is put a circle on the number. Okay, there's a 2. I'm going to put a circle on the 2. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to fill it in, or you're going to leave it open. If it's remember, if it's a less than or equal to, a greater than equal to, you're going to fill it in. If it's a less than or greater than, you're going to leave it open. Because this is a less than or equal to, I'm going to fill it in because 2 is less than and equal to 2, right? Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure the arrow and line include the solutions, okay? So if you have an S, here's my trick. S is less than or equal to 2. Here's how you can figure out your arrow. You just see that? If it's a less than symbol, just add a line to it and it'll show you which way the arrow will go. Now, disclaimer, that will only work if you have the variable first and then the number. This could be rewritten as 2 is greater than S. Okay, but then that arrow thing won't work. So do the little arrow trick that I showed you if the variable is first. Okay, the other way you could do it is just think, okay, is 0 less than or equal to 2? Yes, that's why 0 is filled in. And all of these numbers are part of the solution. They are all less than and equal, less than and equal to 2. Okay, there's your example. Now you get to do it on your own. So W is less than or equal to 8/10. Step 1, put a circle at 8/10. Do we fill it in? Yeah, because it's the less than or equal to. So fill that in. And now we're going to fill in everything. W is like everything we're going to shade it. So we need W to be everything less than or equal to -8. Less than is to the left, right? So our arrow will also go to the left. Okay, oh, and there's 0. Is it true that 0 is less than or equal to 0.8? Yeah, that's kind of how you know you did it correctly. Okay, now n is greater than or equal to -3. -3 is between -4 and -2. And this time we're going greater than -3 or equal to -3. So because we're going equal to -3, let's fill it in. And then all of these numbers are greater than -3. Okay, so you've had some practice graphing it. Now let's do the opposite. Let's look at it and then let's write the inequality. So I kind of told you the trick is to put the inequality first. And then write down the number, it's -2. Now, are all of these numbers greater than -2 or less than -2? All of these numbers are less than -2, aren't they? And is -2 included? Is it filled in? It is not. It's just everything less than -2. So we're not going to put the less than or equal to sign because it is not filled in. So this inequality is y is less than -2. What about this inequality? This is a inequality, or this is a number of 2. This time the arrow is going in the greater than. 3, 4, and 5, all of those are greater than 2. And then look, 2 is filled in. So let's do a greater than or equal to 2. All right. Is this t is less than -1? Well, we do have it at -1, so that's a check. It is just less than, so it should be open, so that is good. And it is all going in the less than direction. So yes, that one is correct. All right, now what I want you to do is see if you can graph these on your own. So pause the video, try and graph them on your own, and then push play again. Okay, and then I'll be right here doing it with you. We can check it together. So x is greater than -2. Here's -2. X is greater than -2, so I'm going to go in the greater than direction. And I'm not going to fill it in because it is just less than. Or sorry, it's greater than. It's not greater than or equal to. So that is hopefully what your first one looks like. The next one is x is less than or equal. Filled it in as soon as I saw that or equal to sign. So it's less than that. All of these numbers are less than 3. X is less than or equal to 3. Okay? The next one is x is greater than or equal to 4. So -4. X is greater than, so we're going to go this direction, or equal to, so we're going to fill it in, -4. Boom. And the last one is x is less than 4. So x is everything less than 4, but it's not equal to 4, so we're not going to fill it in. Okay, that is how you graph inequalities. So let's go back to the very first screen where I told you what you'd be doing and see if you can do it now. Can you graph inequalities with an open and closed circles? Yeah, you know what that means now, huh? And can you get the arrow pointed in the right direction? Yes, you can. It's going to be a fun day today. Have fun graphing. See ya.